I am sitting in my office right now staring at a small velvet box on my desk. Inside is a 2-carat diamond ring with a platinum band. It should be on someone's finger, but instead, it came back to me 3 days ago. I keep thinking about that moment on Malibu Beach when I got down on one knee during golden hour, the Pacific waves crashing behind us, and she said yes through happy tears. She wore a white sundress that day, and I truly believed I had found my forever. How did something so beautiful turn into a nightmare in just a few weeks? Her words still echo in my head. If you loved me, you would pay for my parents' mortgage. I nodded when she said it, but inside I had already made a decision. I had no idea that 72 hours later her entire family would storm into my office like I had committed a crime. Before I tell you how everything fell apart, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. If this story resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe, because what happened next taught me the most expensive lesson about love and self-respect I have ever learned. Trust me, you will want to hear how I handled what came through my office door that day. Now let me take you back to where it all began. Her name was Clarissa, and we met 2 years ago at an art gallery opening in downtown Los Angeles. I am a software engineer at a tech startup, and she was an interior designer with incredible passion for her work. The chemistry between us was instant. She laughed at my jokes. I was captivated by the way her eyes lit up when she talked about design concepts. Our first date was at an Italian restaurant where we talked until the staff started stacking chairs on tables. I thought I had found something rare. The first 6 months were everything I had hoped for. Weekend trips to San Diego, hiking at Runyon Canyon on Saturday mornings, her making pancakes while I attempted dinner, and usually failed miserably. She would laugh at my terrible cooking, and that sound became my favorite thing. Our friends kept saying we were the perfect couple. I introduced her to my college buddies. She brought me into her world. For the first time in years, I felt like I had found home in another person. Every morning I woke up grateful that she had walked into that gallery. Around month 7, I met her family. They invited me to dinner at their house in Orange County. It was a nice suburban home, with a well-maintained lawn, and everything you would expect from a successful middle-class family. Her father, Raymond, was friendly enough, though. I noticed he asked a lot of questions about my job, my salary bracket, my career trajectory. He was subtle about it, but it was there. Her mother, Patricia, was warm and welcoming, but she kept saying things like, "Family takes care of family, and we are so close-knit here." Then there was her younger brother, Kyle, 25 years old, still living at home, bouncing between part-time jobs. During dinner, Clarissa mentioned she had lent Kyle $500 to help him get back on his feet. Temporarily, she said. I felt a little uncomfortable that night, but I brushed it off. Every family has their quirks, right? When I mentioned it to Clarissa on the drive home, she squeezed my hand and said, "They just want to make sure you are serious about me." I believed her. Love makes you overlook red flags. You tell yourself stories to explain away the little things that do not sit right. 3 months later, I proposed. I planned everything carefully. Sunset at Malibu Beach, a hidden photographer, red roses scattered on the sand. When I opened the ring box, Clarissa gasped. Her surprise was genuine. Her tears were real. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes," she said. In that moment, I was certain I had made the best decision of my life. The ocean stretched out behind us. The sky was painted gold and pink, and I held the woman I loved in my arms. Wedding planning started immediately. We booked an upscale hotel in Santa Monica with an ocean view for the ceremony. Our guest list grew to 200 people. The budget was $35,000, covering the venue, catering, her dress, flowers, and a photographer. I had saved $80,000 over the years from my job and bonuses, and I felt proud that we could afford a beautiful wedding without going into debt. Clarissa was excited about every detail. She chose a blush pink and gold color scheme, selected lemon elderflower for the cake flavor, spent hours looking at table centerpieces. Watching her light up over wedding planning made me happy. This was our future taking shape. Then the money conversation started. Small at first. My dad has been stressed about some bills lately, Clarissa mentioned one evening. A week later, Kyle really needs help getting back on his feet. I offered to take her parents to dinner to help lighten their load a little. When Kyle asked for another loan, I gave him $500, which I never expected to see again. Clarissa kissed me and called me generous. I felt good about being supportive. After all, these were going to be my family soon. Helping them seemed like the right thing to do. But there was this nagging feeling I could not quite name. A small voice in the back of my mind that something was shifting. I pushed it down. We were picking out wedding invitations, addressing envelopes, confirming RSVPs. Clarissa was glowing with happiness. I held her hand and told myself everything would be fine. 6 weeks before the wedding, everything changed. It was evening in my apartment. We had just finished dinner, and I was washing dishes in the kitchen when I noticed Clarissa had gone unusually quiet. She was sitting on the couch staring at her phone but not really looking at it. I dried my hands and walked over. "Everything okay, babe?" I asked. She looked up at me, and her expression was serious in a way I had not seen before. "We need to talk about something important." My stomach tightened. Those words are never good. I sat down next to her. Clarissa started explaining. Her parents were in trouble. Raymond had lost a significant portion of his income because his business was experiencing a slowdown. They had fallen behind on mortgage payments. 3 months behind, actually. The bank was starting foreclosure proceedings. If they did not catch up soon, they could lose the house. The amount they needed was $45,000. That would cover the past due payments and keep them stable for the next year, while Raymond figured things out. I sat there stunned. $45,000. That was more than half my savings. That was money I had worked years to accumulate. I felt a wave of sympathy for her parents, but also shock at the enormousness of what she was asking. "Have they tried refinancing?" I asked carefully. Talking to the bank about a payment plan, Clarissa's face hardened. "Of course they have. Do you think they did not try everything before coming to us?" "Maybe we could help with a smaller amount," I suggested. "A few thousand to help them negotiate with the bank, Nathaniel." She said my name like I was being deliberately difficult. "This is my family. They raised me. If we do not help them, they could lose everything. Their home. The place I grew up. Do you understand what that means?" I understood. But I also understood what she was asking me to give up. "That is almost all of my savings, Clarissa. We were going to use that money for our future. A down payment on a house. An emergency fund. Our life together." Her voice rose. "So you are saying your money is more important than my parents keeping their home?" "That is not what I am saying." I could feel myself getting defensive. "I am saying this is not fair to ask right before our wedding. This is a huge financial decision." "Fair." She stood up from the couch. "You want to talk about fair? My parents could be homeless and you are worried about fair." She started crying. I could not tell if the tears were genuine or strategic, and that thought alone made me feel sick. What kind of person questions whether their fiancé's tears are real? "I cannot believe you are being so selfish right now," she said through tears. "What kind of husband are you going to be if you will not even help in a crisis? Clarissa, please." I tried to keep my voice calm. "Can we just take a breath and think about this rationally?" She crossed her arms, and her voice went cold. "If you loved me, you would pay for my parents' mortgage. This is what love looks like, Nathaniel. Sacrifice. I need to know right now if you are the man I think you are, or if I have been wasting my time." The ultimatum hung in the air between us. In that moment, something shifted inside me. I looked at her standing there, arms crossed, face set in determination, and I realized this was not a request. This was a test. This was manipulation wrapped in the language of love. But outwardly, I just nodded. "Okay. Let me think about how to make it work." Her whole demeanor changed instantly. She rushed over and hugged me. "I knew you would understand. You are amazing, babe. My parents are going to be so relieved. You are saving their lives." I did not hug her back. My body was stiff. She did not seem to notice. After she left that night, I sat alone in my dark living room for hours. I kept replaying the conversation. The more I thought about it, the clearer things became. This was not about helping family in a crisis. This was about control, about seeing if I would comply, about testing how far she could push. I started seeing patterns I had ignored. Kyle borrowing money and never paying it back. The times Clarissa had used guilt to get her way on smaller things. Raymond's probing questions about my finances from the very first time I met him. Patricia's comments about family taking care of family. Had they been grooming me from the beginning? Was I always just a financial solution to them? The worst realization hit me around 3 in the morning. I asked myself, does Clarissa actually love me, or does she love what I can provide? I thought about our relationship. The things she admired about me were always connected to stability, career success, financial security. When had she last asked about my dreams, my fears, my childhood? Our conversations were mostly about her work, her family, her plans for the future. I did not sleep that night. By dawn, I knew exactly what I had to do. This was not love. This was a transaction. And if it was $45,000 now, what would it be next time? Pay off Kyle's credit card debt. Buy them a new car. Where would it end? At 8 o'clock in the morning, I started making calls. I called the wedding venue and canceled. They kept the $3,000 deposit, and I did not even care. I called the caterer, the photographer, the florist. I canceled everything. Then I sent a mass email to all the guests. The wedding has been called off due to personal reasons. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Finally, I called Clarissa. My voice was calm, completely devoid of emotion. We need to meet, I said. Oh, good. She sounded cheerful. Did you figure out the money thing? I told my parents you were working on it. Yes, I said. I figured it out. I will explain when we meet. I drove to a coffee shop, public place, strategic choice. I arrived early and chose a table near the window. When Clarissa walked in, she looked gorgeous as always. She was smiling, confident. She sat down across from me. So good news, I pulled the ring box from my pocket and slid it across the table. I cannot marry you, Clarissa. Her smile froze on her face. What? Is this a joke? The wedding is canceled. I called the venue this morning. I emailed all the guests. Her voice was loud enough that people at nearby tables looked over. You are calling off our wedding because of the money. No, I kept my voice steady. I am calling it off because you tried to manipulate me into giving it to you. Manipulate you. She looked genuinely shocked. My parents are losing their house, you said, and I quote, if you loved me, you would pay for my parents' mortgage. I looked directly at her. That is not how love works, Clarissa. Love does not come with financial tests. It does not come with ultimatums. I was scared for them. The tears started again. I do love you. I was just desperate. Maybe you do love me in your own way, I said. But I realized something last night. I do not think you ever loved me for who I am. You loved what I could provide. The stability, the security, the solution to your family's problems. She tried anger next. You are selfish. You never cared about my family. This just proves I was right about you. I am sorry you see it that way. Then came the bargaining. Forget the money. We can work this out. We can go to counseling. Please, Nathaniel, we can fix this. I stood up and put $20 on the table for the coffees we had not touched. I deserve someone who loves me, not my bank account. I am sorry it ended this way. I really am. But my decision is final. I walked out of that coffee shop and did not look back, even though I could hear her calling my name. When I got to my car, my hands were shaking, but I also felt lighter than I had in weeks, like I had just dodged something terrible. The next 3 days were chaos. Day 1, Clarissa called and texted nonstop. I blocked her number after the 15th call. Then came the messages from her family. Patricia sent long texts about how I had broken her daughter's heart. Raymond sent an email threatening some vague legal action about broken promises, which was absurd. Kyle texted me, "You are a coward, bro." I ignored all of it. Day 2, Clarissa made a vague post on social media about betrayal and fake people. Mutual friends started picking sides. Some reached out to me privately, asking what had happened. I kept my responses simple. It was not right for either of us. I am fine. I buried myself in work, focusing on a coding project that had been sitting on my desk for weeks. Day 3 started normally. I was at my office, actually feeling surprisingly good. It felt like I had escaped something dangerous. My colleague Alex mentioned in passing that he had seen my ex in the building lobby earlier that morning, which was strange, but I did not think much of it. Around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was deep in focus at my desk when the receptionist's panicked voice came over the intercom. "Nathaniel, there are some people here." The door to the office burst open. Clarissa walked in, followed by Raymond, Patricia, and Kyle. The entire office went silent. Every single person stopped what they were doing and stared. Keyboards stopped clicking. Phone conversations paused. It was like someone had pressed pause on the whole world. Raymond's face was bright red. He pointed his finger at me. "You think you can just humiliate my daughter?" Patricia had tears streaming down her face. "We trusted you. We welcomed you into our family." Kyle stepped forward. "Pay up what you owe us." Clarissa stood there silently, tears running down her cheeks, playing the victim role perfectly. They were creating a scene intentionally. Public humiliation was the goal. Pressure me into compliance in front of my coworkers. Make me look like the bad guy. I stood up slowly. "You need to leave. This is my workplace. We are not leaving until you make this right." Raymond's voice boomed across the office. Several of my coworkers had their phones out. They were recording. My boss, David, emerged from his office looking confused and concerned. "What is going on here?" I took a breath. If they wanted to do this publicly, fine. I turned to David first. "I apologize for this disruption. These are my ex-fiancée's family members. I will handle it." Then I turned to Raymond, and I made sure my voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. "You want to do this here? Fine. Let us be very clear about what actually happened." I looked around the office. Everyone was watching. 6 weeks ago, Clarissa demanded that I pay $45,000 for your mortgage. She said, and I quote exactly, "If you loved me, you would pay for my parents' mortgage." That was not a request. It was manipulation. It was a test. When I refused to be financially coerced into proving my love with money, I called off the wedding. Patricia gasped, dramatically. Raymond's face got even redder. I continued. "I owe you nothing. Not money. Not explanations. Not anything." I turned to Clarissa. "I loved you. Or I thought I did. But love is not transactional. You did not want a husband. You wanted a wallet. Someone to solve your family's financial problems. I hope you find what you are looking for, but it will not be with me." Then I addressed the whole family, my voice dropping to ice-cold calm. "I have already contacted building security. They are on their way up. If you do not leave immediately, I will file for a restraining order for harassment. And if any of you post false information about me online or anywhere else, my attorney will handle defamation charges. Are we clear?" Raymond's bluster started to deflate. He looked around and seemed to realize for the first time that there were witnesses everywhere. People were recording. This was not going the way he had planned. Patricia pulled at his arm. "Raymond, let us go. This was a mistake." Kyle muttered something under his breath that I did not catch. Clarissa finally spoke, her voice shaking. "You are going to regret this, Nathaniel. The only thing I regret," I said quietly, "is not seeing this sooner." 2 security guards appeared at the door. They escorted Clarissa and her family out of the office. After they left, the room erupted in whispers. People were talking, looking at me, processing what they had just witnessed. Alex came over and put his hand on my shoulder. "Dude, that was intense. Are you okay?" I sat back down at my desk. My hands were steady. "Yeah. Actually, I am better than okay." David approached my desk. "Take the rest of the day off if you need it." I smiled at him. "Thanks, but I am good. I have work to finish." For the first time in months, I felt powerful. Not because I had hurt anyone, but because I had finally stood up for myself. I had drawn a line, and I had not backed down. That evening, I went home to my quiet apartment. I looked at the photos of Clarissa and me that were still scattered around. I gathered them all and put them in a box, then put the box in my closet. Not thrown away, just stored. Part of my history, but no longer part of my present. I ordered Thai food for dinner, the kind she always said was too spicy. I watched a science fiction movie she would have hated. Small acts of reclaiming my own life. The Office video went viral among our mutual friends within hours. Public opinion shifted quickly. People could see what had actually happened. They saw the manipulation. Old friends I had not heard from in months reached out. "Man, we were worried about you." Something felt off about her, but we did not want to say anything. I appreciated their support, but mostly I just wanted to move forward. Clarissa's social media went completely quiet. I heard through the grapevine that she had moved back in with her parents. Apparently there was tension in the family now, because their stunt at my office had backfired so spectacularly. I did not take any joy in that. I just felt relieved that it was over. The first week after was the hardest. Grief hit me, but it was not grief for Clarissa specifically. It was grief for the future I had imagined. The wedding that would never happen. The life we had planned together. I found myself wondering at odd moments if I had been too harsh. But every time that thought came up, I reminded myself of what she had said. "If you loved me, you would pay for my parents' mortgage." No. I had made the right choice. By the end of the first month, I was starting to rebuild. Work was going well, and I actually got promoted to senior software engineer. The raise was substantial. I reconnected with college buddies I had neglected during my relationship with Clarissa. Ben and Marcus started a weekly game night, and I joined them. We played cards, ate pizza, and talked about anything except my ex-fiancée, unless I brought it up first. The laughter felt genuine again. 3 months after the breakup, I started rediscovering parts of myself I had lost. I took up solo hiking, something I used to love before Clarissa came into my life. She had never been interested in it, always preferring brunch spots and shopping. I drove out to Joshua Tree one weekend, then Big Sur the next. Walking alone through nature, surrounded by silence and beauty, I felt peace for the first time in a long time. I started journaling about everything I had learned, and everything I would never tolerate again in a relationship. 6 months later, I was having coffee with Emma, a coworker who had been supportive through everything. We were not dating, just becoming closer friends. She asked me about the incident with Clarissa's family at the office. By then, I could talk about it without feeling bitter or angry. "You did the brave thing," Emma said. "Most people would have just gone through with the wedding because it felt easier than dealing with the fallout." That was when I realized I was not angry anymore. I was just free. The lessons crystallized over time. Real love does not come with price tags or ultimatums. Love should not feel like you are constantly proving yourself worthy. The right person will love you for who you are, not what you can provide. Financial compatibility matters in relationships, absolutely. But using money as leverage is pure manipulation. I learned that I deserved better than being someone's financial plan. That saying no does not make you selfish, it makes you self-aware. That walking away from the wrong thing takes more courage than staying in something comfortable but toxic. I also learned to trust my gut. Those uncomfortable feelings I had early on at that first family dinner were valid. I should have paid more attention. I learned to watch how a partner treats other people. Kyle mooching off his sister, the family's sense of entitlement. Those were all signs. I learned to notice whether a partner actually asks about your needs, your dreams, your fears, or if the relationship is always centered on them. 1 year after I canceled the wedding, I am sitting in the same office where everything exploded. There is a photo on my desk now, but it is not of a romantic partner. It is me with Ben and Marcus at a mountain summit we hiked last month. We are all grinning, exhausted and happy. I am dating again casually, but with much clearer boundaries and standards. I know what I will accept and what I will not. I know my worth. That $80,000 I saved. It is still in my account, actually growing with interest and investments. 6 months ago, I used part of it as a down payment on a small condo. It is all mine. Every decision about it is mine. The $45,000 Clarissa wanted. If I had given it to her family, it would be gone, and I would be married to someone who never really loved me for me. I would probably be facing more demands, more tests, more ultimatums. Sometimes the most expensive lesson is the one you refuse to pay for. I do not regret anything. Not the relationship, not ending it, not even the scene in the office. Every single experience taught me something valuable about myself. I learned I am stronger than I thought. I learned I can stand up for myself, even when it is uncomfortable. I learned that being alone is better than being with someone who sees you as a resource rather than a person. I am wiser now. I am ready for real love when it comes. The kind that does not cost anything, but gives everything. The kind that does not come with conditions or contracts. The kind where both people choose each other freely every single day, not because of what the other person can provide, but because of who they are. My phone buzzes. It is a text from Emma. Hiking this weekend, I smile and type back. Absolutely. I close my laptop and look out the window at the Los Angeles skyline. The sun is setting, painting everything, gold and orange. Life moves forward. Better things are coming. And this time I will recognize them. So let me ask you, have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were being tested instead of loved? Have you ever had to walk away from someone you cared about because you realized they did not really see you? Drop your wind. Thoughts in the comments below. And if this story helped you in any way, if it made you think about your own boundaries and self-worth, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel because I share more stories about real-life lessons and the courage it takes to choose yourself. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who might be facing their own difficult decision about love and money and self-respect. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it gives you the strength to stand up for yourself when you need to. Take care of yourself out there. You deserve real love, not tests. You deserve someone who chooses you for who you are, not what you have. Until next time, stay strong and stay true to yourself.